It doesn't have intentions cause it doesn't have a mind. In orbital rotations, how the planets are aligned. Too far left or right and the planets all collide.
Humble, young man, humble. Woo! This is Jarrell Golden of Holy Ground Music Group, and you are listening to Jerry Royce Live, worldwide podcast in Charm City. A quick question. Can you feel the power?
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce Live, worldwide.
All right, what's going on, family? Welcome to Late Night with Jerry Royce Live, worldwide, a.k.a. the Batman of Charm City, baby. That's right, y'all. We hope you're having a great Monday. Mondays are always so long. That's right, because we go all the way to 11 o'clock, from 8 o'clock, starting with Ree, then Lakeisha Mosey's show, and now Late Night with me and Shay. All right, we're going to have a great time. All right, let's see what Shay's up to. Shay. What's up, Shay, baby K?
Jerry Royce Live, a.k.a. the Batman.
Right here.
Happy Monday.
Good Monday. It seemed like it's been lasting forever. I need another nap. I took like 3.
Hey, it's not 12 o'clock. You don't need a nap. It's not 12 o'clock. Well, it's almost 12 o'clock. So then it wouldn't be a nap. It would be bedtime.
Well, I take my midday, and then I take sometimes I take a late afternoon. Depends on what I got to do. Like today, I had to go to Wegmans again. Look, I went 2 days in a row.
With all that you do, when do you find the time to go to the gym?
Oh, we go at night. Don't you see my pictures?
Okay.
They be
so
like,
you go to one of those 24-hour gyms?
Yeah, we be there at night, me and the kids. We be in there getting it in. Yeah. That's right. And plus, it's not crowded.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, some reason my daughter doesn't like going to the gym when it's a lot of people. Sometimes it be like 10, and she still be complaining.
I don't blame her. I don't really like being. I think that's why I'm a manual. I'm like Rocky. I'm like the Russian on Rocky. I like everything to be like manual, not manual. I like the hard labor. So I don't want to run on a treadmill. I'd rather run up a hill. I don't want to do weights. I'd rather have like the cans. You know what I mean? I want to do resistant bands. I don't want to feel like I'm in the gym. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't want to feel like I'm in the gym.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, I like the way they got this gym laid out. Everything is kind of close, and you just go from one machine to the next, and you get focused. They got the televisions on. They got the people on the treadmill, the steppers, everything. And this time they replaced a lot of the equipment, so they got a lot more ab workouts now. Whether you're doing it on your own from an incline, or they got like 3 or 4 machines that can help you work different parts of your. And I was burning yesterday, so I gotta keep that thing going. Yeah.
What's your favorite machine at the gym?
The ones that work on the guns and the shoulders. Yeah. They got a lot of lifts.
Jerry, when I sat next to you when you were here, and I said, look at Jerry's guns.
I know, I'm working on the guns, man. And the thing about it is, I'm learning a lot. When you get older, it takes a little bit more work, and of course you have to follow your diet plan has to be stricter, like a lot more protein, when you're going to be hurting. So, yeah, it's like I'm starting to learn a little bit about myself. And one thing too that's motivating is, back in the day, you wouldn't find guys that were over, I guess, 55 or 60 that were in good shape. Normally they kind of, it's like it's over. They ain't shooting no ball. They bowling and they playing golf. But I'm like,
I don't know. That must be a DMV thing, because where I'm from, the older guys were the ones that looked like Bruce Lee, Karate Kid. Like the older men were the ones that have knocked you out.
I'm talking about back in the day, like
the younger
60s and 70s. I ain't talking about the 90s and the 2000s.
The 70s,
They didn't care. Yeah, but after they bought their pickup truck or that Cadillac or Buick Electra 225, they didn't care about being in shape. They let the rides get the ladies for them. Most of the time, people stay married longer back then, so they didn't really care about being in shape. Now you got a lot more people are single, and you got guys that's in their 60s, 70s retired that's single now, and they like going out, hanging at the lounge and the VFW clubs and the Sons of American Legion clubs and all that stuff, and line dancing. You see Paula G out there with them older dudes swinging her, man, them dudes cut up.
I love it. Line dancing is it. I love it. Shout out to all the line dancers. I love it. My sister and her husband, they go on all kind of competitions. And I mean, I remember even when I was on the cruise, they had like a whole club designated to just line dancing. Yes. People just do it.
That's right. Swing dancing too. That's big too here. And this DMV, swing dancing is huge. So you got the swing dancers and then you got the stepper. But a lot of times the swing dancers kind of hook up with the steppers. I think like on Saturdays they do stuff together. Because I know my wife, when her girlfriend, her and her husband really into it, and they know all the everything. So I said,
it's their own world. They have their own world.
I know. I guess because when I came up, that's when Curtis Blow and them blew on the scene and, DJing. So we really didn't care about dancing. We just wanted to spin, and talk to girls. Let me
find out, Jerry, you had one of those like rack tail type of hairstyles with like the little slit in the middle or in the front and then like the little shag in the back. Did you have one of those? Yeah,
we did have the tails and the part on the side and the fades. Yeah, but Batman was smooth back then.
I saw finger waves and brown suit. I saw it.
Well, that was because my girlfriend actually had a very successful salon who I was dating at that time, and she used to make me do hair shows. so my brother.
Oh my goodness!
I think I told you my brother was a professional model. So like a lot of times when I took him to these shows, they never had enough people. You go to dress rehearsal one day, then I think they have another rehearsal, and then they like, oh, we don't have enough guys. Can you model? I was like, I gotta get my hair cut now. Yeah, that's how I got into it. Yeah, he was print model. I think that's how he got started. Photographer discovered him, and he ended up doing stuff with Kodak. He actually was in malls and stuff. Yeah, somebody said they saw him in the.
Shout out to your brother though, because he's still busy. He's still busy. So shout out to him.
DJ Jazzman is back. Yeah, he used to do radio with me back in 2006. We used to do internet radio. Yep, and then Brandon was introducing the little TV, taping because he was studying at school, and then next thing I know, I kind of got out of this when I changed jobs, and because I was working for my dad publishing company. I think you heard my brother mention that in the interview with Lakeisha. And shout out to Lakeisha Mosley, holding down the Lakeisha Mosley show on the road now.
Shout out to my sister.
Lakeisha is in TV boot camp. That's when you're out there on the road doing journalism.
She seriously, just came right in and just went in for it.
Yeah,
shout out to Lakeisha.
Yeah, she was in Atlanta. Now she's in Chestertown. Now we're going to Centerville. Yeah, she's doing her thing. So anyway, because a lot of people don't know, Lakeisha's from Detroit. So her husband's job. He took a job in the Maryland area, so they kind of way deep too. I think they're in Southern Maryland. I only been out there like twice, and it's like 2 hours away. It's like, I can go to New York in that case. So anyway, we'll go see Lisa Wallace, Delaware.
I know that's right. I still have to tell her to get to Cedartown. Mom, if you're listening, shout out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
If she's not working,
make sure. I know she's home today.
Yeah, we gotta find out how far she is from that area because we're gonna be in Chestertown a lot. We got a lot of stuff going on there, and I love it there.
Cedartown.
Yep. Chestertown's a very beautiful town, surrounded by water and everything. So basically, Lakeisha and I are gonna actually be taping her show there for a while. So we're going to be there in studio. She's going to actually work with my closed studio too, but we're going to be doing a lot more over there. So we're going to be working with some artists, some community people, because there's a lot of history over there. And I know Dr. Kelly kind of been, so interested in what I've been finding out. I said, maybe everybody could be interested, because I think that's why our people been so destructive because we don't really know who we are. I'm finding out stuff myself, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
yeah.
where was
I
this
was
written?
just listening to a video of how important that is too. So we'll share that.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometime in the future.
That's right. Because, you know, the reason why we were there, you know, the previous weekend was because of the Owner Judge play. It was 30-minute musical, and they were supporting the African American community doing the Tea Party, the Chestertown Tea Party reenactment, the whole festival, everything. I mean, they had the black soldier. I think they called themselves the Buffalo Soldier. It was everything was there, and an all black high school marching band. I caught a little bit of them on film, and I hope to get with them soon because I like to get with their music program and get them on tape and get Lakeisha interviewing those kids and find out what they've been up to. 'Cause a lot of times I find out those kids go to Ocean City and them places to compete. And they bring home the prizes all the time. I know my dad actually had, and my son Brandon always say, now how come I'm just finding out all this stuff? My dad actually had his own marching band, steppers and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And
wow.
they had a bus, and they had sponsors, and they used to go compete on the Eastern Shore in Ocean City and big competitions and everything, and they used to win like all the time. And he ended up giving up that group, to work on other community projects. He turned it over to a music director, and I'm not sure how they doing now, but they had uniforms and everything. So we did see a group like that, and they were representing a high school. So I'm gonna have to find out a little bit more about that, and hopefully Lakeisha and I can find out what they have going on, so we can get those kids on, in the studio and talk to them, and see what their ambition is like. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking to do in the African American in the Christian community. Bring out some of this history, because I mean, Frederick Douglass was born like I think 30, 40 minutes from where we're going to be on this Saturday, and 20, 30 minutes from there, Harriet Tubman was born. So wow, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's down in that area. It's a lot of. That's where the Underground Railroad, that's where most of your Maryland plantations were, So, and it was so interesting. I can't wait
to see what you guys come up with.
Yeah, but this was a real startling piece of information my brother gave us, and we're going to move right into the interview. He was telling me that, years ago, and I guess this could have been the 1960s, African Americans weren't allowed to vote. And he said Chestertown was one of the townships. He said the only way you were able to vote if you own land. That was like the rule, the law. Wow. And so it was one African American man. He owned like acres of land, and it was good property too, waterfront stuff. And he just gave it away to his fellow African Americans, and they were able to vote and participate in the elections in the town. And they're deep. I said, "Wow,
that is very deep."
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that Martin Luther King was fighting about. When people wrote him letters and said, "Please come out of town and help us with this protest," because they know it was going to get national coverage. When Martin Luther King came to town, everybody's going to find out about it. Because remember, there wasn't a lot of TV for us. We didn't have BET or Radio 1 or Radio 1. A lot of us forget about there's Radio 1 out there in the DC area. So, but now, we got internet TV. At least I know that's what we're going to be doing. When we put our station up, you'll be able to go out there and see and hear some facts like this. This is our vision. We hope we'll be able to go that direction. All right.
Well, they are about to feel the power.
That's right. Time to feel the power. All right. Shay, Sarai, and GB in the house. DMV. What's up, DMV? How y'all doing?
Yeah.
Y'all good? Hey. Amen. Hey. God is good. Well, look, I just wanted to say hello to you guys. Welcome to the platform. I know Shay, she was just on here with Paula G last week, and then she ended up being on the Christian Party line. What about you, Shay Samuels? But they held it down.
I said we had an encore, so I better make this good. Either we didn't get through everything, or I just needed to be able to talk to her. So we'll figure it out. Yeah. All right,
that's right. Oh, that's right. Hold up. So Paula G interviewed her. That's right. Paula G didn't interview. You interviewed her on Friday night, right? Was that right?
I think she was on with the Christian Party line, I believe.
Right, but she was on the early show too.
Right.
Who did the early show for me? Was it but maybe Paula G did come on. Yeah, is that right, Shay? Sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's what.
I think it was Paula G.
Yeah, it was. Paula G did. Yeah, she ended up.
Shout out to Paula G.
That's right. Because she ended up coming on the show because I was going to let Dr. Kelly do it. And she inboxed me and said, "Hey, I got you guys." Yeah. All right. Well, look, y'all got it.
How we do on the Positive Power Network.
That's how we do. It's family. It's family. And look, I was going back and forth with Shay this morning, trying to explain to her how the network works. Because I'm not sure she got confused about what's going on. But we actually have 2 television shows hosts. We actually have more than that, but those are the 2 main ones. The Lakeisha Mosley show, which she's kind of been on the road. She's here. Wherever we have events, we take her and we do interviews. And then we have the big show with Paula G is the one, My Journey, which airs in Atlanta on the Christian television network, the Atlanta Broadcasting Network, which is also overseas too on the international internet site, which is pretty humongous. So that's the big baby right there. That's the one where you find Atlanta Live and you get a chance. TD, a lot of people don't know, but the history of that Atlanta Live, it goes back as far as TD Jakes and Donnie McClurkin, and they the ones that I think were the original hosts of this show. Now you have a lot of different people host their show during the week. I think Shay know a lot about it because she actually been on there twice, and she's hanging out. She's been hanging out in the studio with Paula G when she does Atlanta Live Prayer Line. So we connected with them on 2 channels. They got 57 and then they got 57.2, and then the internet channels and stuff. So that's the one that's giving people all kinds of national exposure, and that's what we're trying to teach some of the young artists and even some of the mature artists. If you wanna be able to pack these ministries and these churches or wherever you're going to tour, because that's where you make your money when you sell the CDs. They got to know who you are. They want to, I seen her on TV. Right. Let's go see her, So that's how that game works. So that's what we're doing now, is working on getting you guys in the sound studios, getting you guys recording, getting you guys ready for My Journey with Paula G. Right, Shay? So
Right.
That's how the game works. All right, so Batman's done. Y'all have a good show.
2 Shays on the line, so we both are just going to answer in sync.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I'm on mute, y'all. Batman is on mute.
Can't forget my man GB.
That's right, GB. So hope to meet you soon, man. So I hope to meet you real soon. Get you guys in studio and meet Lakeisha and Paula and all them. So let's make some things happen in the studio for you guys, man. Okay, amen.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Have a good show.
Thank you.
Amen. Well, welcome, everybody. That's right. It's Monday night already. I feel like we just talked to you guys last Monday, but it's Monday already. And you know what time it is? It's late night with Jerry Royce Live, a.k.a. the Batman, on the Positive Power 21 Network, and your co-host, Shay Samuel. So we have 2 guests on with us tonight. One that is not new to the platform, but she interviewed last week with Paula G and I believe with the ladies of CPL, and she is back for an encore. But she did not come back by herself this time. She came back with her main man and partner, GB. Hello, Shay and GB.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you? Welcome, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're about to have a lot of fun learning about you both, listening to your music, and getting whatever projects you guys have out for the world to hear, and really start connecting with you both. So I'm going to start with GB. I don't know if you go, I have your name, so I'm just going to let you tell everybody what you want them to know about you. So I'm going to start with you. What do you want the world to know about you?
All right. Well, my name is GB. It's just the initials for my name, George Bassey. I am a hip-hop artist out of PG County, Maryland, in the DMV. I've been doing hip-hop, say give or take, for a little over a decade. But the last few years really been trying to commit myself to the process and just really watching God open doors, and just excited to see where he's taking me.
Amen. And Miss Shay Sarai, Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are.
Go. I've been practicing that for like a whole 20 minutes.
I know, man. You should, man. When I'm doing live stuff, if someone has to announce me, they look over at me like, Shay, Sarai? I'm like,
so
yeah.
I kind of cheated a little bit because I was like, okay, so it's Portia, right?
Uh-huh.
But then I saw the CHE at the end, so I was just like, okay, is it Sha Sarai? But then Jerry says, oh, I got this. I said, I got this. Shay Sarai, I got it. So tell us a little bit about you, and then we're going to get into your music, and we're going to get into your projects and everything. Like I said, you guys want the world to know about who you are, what your purpose is, and what you want people to know about what you're doing. So first, let's talk about who you are.
Cool, you starting with me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm Shay Sarai from Baltimore DMV area, and I'm a single mom. I'm an employee full time, and I am working to just make Christian hip hop my mainstay. I love Jesus, and I love lyrics. I love putting the words together and giving God the glory at the same time.
That's the way to do it. That is exactly how we should do it. I would start with GB first because I got a bit of your bio and wanted to really touch on some of the points that you yourself, I love for both of you. You started at such a young age, and I'm going to say I'm not going to do you fair, GB. I'm saving the best for last. So that means Shay's going last. Okay, so I'm not going to be fair to you tonight. Shay's going last. The best is going last. But your bio says that, like you said, a hip-hop artist out of DMV. You were best known for your lyrics and your creative mind for delivering and engaging relatable content. And so is like the bulk of what you like to do is that poetry, because it said you started off with poetry. How did you, what was your mindset? What were you going through when you first started writing poetry?
So I was really young when I started writing poetry, probably as far back as like 6, 7 that I can remember. And when I was writing poetry, it was just some things that I did. I've always felt like I had a way with words. And so writing poetry came fairly easy to me. So when it came to, church functions, like we would have Children's Day in this organization that I grew up in. And they would ask me to write a poem for, Children's Day. So I'd end up writing a poem and I would share it. And that's kind of the extent of what it was for a while. Fast forward to high school, and my senior year, I joined this, or at least I would show up to this poetry club. I wouldn't necessarily say I was a part of it per se, but my good friend and I, we would show up to these poetry sessions that they would have, and I was like, okay, let me try to do something with this. And around that time is about the time I started listening to hip hop on a regular basis. Growing up in a Christian home, my parents came over to the U.S. from Nigeria in the 80s. So rap music was not on the table for me growing up.
Oh, wow.
So I got into it really late. And while I was listening, my senior year, I really started listening to a lot of like underground hip hop. So I was listening to like the Talib Kweli's, the Mos Defs, the Commons of the world. And it really just kind of started gravitating towards that. And over that period of time between, graduating high school and starting college, I really started to notice like my poetry started taking shape and started to kind of turn more into lyrics. From that point on, I would kind of start messing around. My cousin had a computer in his basement with this like cheap $10 mic from Radio Shack. And so what he would do is he would get these beats that were whatever the popular, hip hop music was or rap music was at the time. He would pull that off and we would just mess around, just kind of freestyle, off the top to whatever was going on. And after a while, I kind of decided to write stuff down, and we would actually go back and forth. I would write stuff down one night. I'd go back to his place the next day and record it, and everything kind of just built up off of that over time.
there's always a cousin with a studio in the basement, isn't it?
Yep. Started in the basement.
Never fails.
It never fails. There's always, every time I interview somebody, there's always a cousin that had a, and that's how it all starts, you know. You kind of put some things together. I was watching a long time ago, I think it was NWA, and they were starting with the cassette tapes, just going to each other's houses and just kind of playing some music and just really got into the flow of it. I think that was the first time, because I really didn't know NWA like that, but that was the first time that I actually, and I think because I became like more grounded in the music, that I paid attention to what was going on there. But it started with a vision. It started with, with something that they did for fun. I think it was Ice Cube's son. He played Ice Cube, but always carried a composition book with him. Were you like that, where you just carried a book with you, and every time something came up, you just started writing it down?
I've never been one of those people, and I'm kind of jealous of those people, because I, for a long time, never really I didn't look at writing music as like a form of expression per se. It was more so like, oh, I'm able to put words together. I'm able to rhyme words pretty cool. So like, I'll just do it whenever I feel like I want to do it, versus, I have these thoughts in my mind and I need to get them out. So a lot of my music in the beginning wasn't really like personal. It was more so like, oh, he can flow. And so I would just kind of play off of that. But over time, I kind of, have grown as an artist, and understanding the importance of connecting with people through, shared experiences. That's what's made my music more personal. So I never really got into the, carry a pen and pad everywhere. Now with this age of cell phones and notes apps and things like that, you can do that. But it wasn't something that I started off with.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And that was a good segue, actually, because Shay, I'm coming over to you. He was talking about making the music personal. And for you kind of started rapping at the age of 14. And I think that's where you first kind of, gave your life over to Christ, and you just started rapping, and it said unprofessionally, but I don't really, but I get that you're not where you are now. But at the age of 12, growing up, rap in the church probably wasn't something that was as favorable. So I would say that you were doing it on a professional level. You just didn't know it because it wasn't known. So talk to us about that. You were saved at the age of 14 and you began rapping for the Lord. What was that like in your church or in your home?
So I have to make a correction here. I started rapping at 14, but I didn't get saved until I was like 22.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did not actually grow up in church. So when I was rapping. Yeah, you wouldn't want to hear that. When I was rapping when I was 14, I was rapping when I was little. But it still applies even because I was 22. So when I got saved, I was 21 because I spent my 21st birthday in Bible study. I'll never forget that. And I was still in a holiness church, and they did not do Christian hip hop at all. They were still like the women wearing the scarves on the head covers, and like it was still very, very traditional. So I now remember one time we would go and fellowship with other holiness churches, and it was just real like traditional. And I remember one time one of the pastors had went to go preach, and instead of having a psalmist bring him up, like minister before he preached, he had me minister before he preached. And I was like, oh, that's huge. And his message was to the church, like, times are changing, like, we are falling behind what Christ is doing. Like, he used me to make a whole statement to the holiness church. And that was when it opened my eyes to the significance of what I was doing.
Wow. And we're going to go to...
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying up until then, I didn't think I realized the significance of what I was doing.
Definitely, rap has definitely bridged the gap. I remember one of my first concerts, and I say it a lot just because we don't know the importance of all levels of worship. And I think we are the generation that will really bring that out. And what you just said, you know, introducing the traditional body of Christ to what music or worship sounds like. So many people are afraid to, you know, to embrace what it looks like. Because rap has always been something that's been, you know, like dirty, or, you know, there's always curse words in it. And a lot of people didn't know how to receive it. So shout out to that pastor, especially in the Holiness Church, for doing that. Yeah. We have one of your songs, and I want to talk about that one because you were recently crowned DMV's Female Artist of the Year. Whoop, whoop, shout out. Congratulations. And that was for What If He's Real. I think we have that song. I think we have What If He's Real. We're gonna play that song now, and when we come back, I want you to talk to us about that What If He's Real.
Okay. Do you also have the song Never Forget? You have our song?
We'll see if I'll see if we have it. I'll see if we have it right now. Jerry, if you can go to What If He's Real, and then when we come back, we'll talk about that one, and then we'll check to see if we have the other song that you're talking about too.
All right.
Yeah. This Shay, Sarai, man. Look, you ever wonder what we're here for, really? I mean, is it just me or does something not make sense? There's got to be more to life, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Check it. Is it possible we belong to a master who longs for us to trust him as the answer? Cause a Big Bang can't creatively design. It doesn't have intentions cause it doesn't have a mind. In orbital rotations, how the planets are aligned. Too far left or right and the planets all collide. A seed must die in the dirt for it to thrive. Then remain buried in the earth and stay alive. Cells know just when and how to reproduce. So a cow won't have a fin and a fish won't have a hoop. A 10-pound bird is free to fly to and from. The human version weighs about 500 tons. New species, new planet, scientists discovers like they get to see God up close and live in color. I wonder if I only have the power to create because it's in my blood from my father's DNA. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he hears and speaks and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he moves and sees and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes? I only got one life to get it right. What if there's a God who created the perfect plan for me? And it don't involve getting crunk up in this dancery. All my frustrated impatience from not having things was life outside of the palace. While my dad is king, a royal priesthood. He wants to treat me good because he just loves to look after me. I knew some saved, but I couldn't tell the difference. They acknowledge his existence, but were hiding from repenting. That made me ignore the tug on my heart faithfully. So God made it blatant. There's a Satan and he's chasing me. I didn't believe I was a heathen that needed someone to pray for me. Long story short, I'm a good report. Thank you, G. I've been on that side. I've been in that ride. Tipsy and high, pretending I could physically drive. Lifting my eyes, I prayed he was real in that moment. Then I made it home and still did what I wanted. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he hears and speaks and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he moves and sees and he's just waiting on me? Yeah. What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes? I only got one life to get it right. I was sad to see all this tragic and catastrophe, so I had to read his chapters. It was nagging me. I read about green pastures, gold and shiny things, alabaster on the toes of a mighty king. Yet and still I found out about free will and why he gives us the freedom to do as we feel. If he made me love love him, it'd be out of obligation. Like, would you feel lovely if your spouse was just faking? Cause you made her say I do, it wasn't truly adoration. I ain't think so, now think slow, contemplate it. Put off confusion, it's all an illusion. Thinking I'm alive to survive is foolish. Life is a chance to get it right while I can. Take Christ by the hand and acknowledge his plan. You really think we here for no reason at all? Does a tree make noise if we don't see when it falls? What if he's real? What if he lives and breathes and he's just waiting on me? Yeah, what if he's real? What if he hears and speaks and he's just waiting on me? Yeah, what if he's real? What if he moves and sees and he's just waiting on me? Yeah, what if he's real? What if he lives and breathes? I only got one life to get it right.
I absolutely love that. In this time that we're living in, there's so many people who question whether or not he's real. And I like that you put it in a format that people can really think, because I'm listening to the song and I'm thinking like, you know, you've given every example, what if he is? So how did you come up, or how was that song developed?
That song was developed out of a place of evangelism. I like to do that song when I'm ministering in a city and to a crowd who may not, or a majority may not have been saved. Like, it's not a church service, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when I first got saved, I'll give you the brief version. I got led in the prayer of salvation by just a boy I was dating, but it was not like we never attended church or anything. We were still living whatever life we was living. But ever since that point, I always felt accountable, and I couldn't explain it until the day I stepped foot in a church, maybe 5 years later, and it all made sense. So I would have this question in my mind, like, man, what if there really is a God? Like, what if someone's watching me, holding me accountable? Like, all of that happened after I was led in that prayer that one day. And so I feel as though if I can at least plant the seed in your head to at least question God, you know, once you step your foot in that church or step your toe across the line, once you ask him, you know, if he's real, he'll take care of the rest. Yeah.
I like it. I absolutely like it. We're going to go to your next song titled Never Forget, and then I want you to tell us about that. And we also have a video for the viewers, so we want you all to stay tuned, stay to the end, because we're going to be debuting the video of Shay. And so I want you guys to make sure that you stay with us. Do not turn your dials. If you are on Facebook Live, do not turn your dials. Don't flip over to another live. We want you to stay here so you can watch the video. Right now, we're going to go ahead and play the next song, Never Forget.
No. I can't do it. Not like that. Nah. I can't be popping no sins. I apologize in advance. I went to God with the plan. You took it out of my hands. When I was down to my last, about to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. I can't be popping no sins. I apologize in advance. I went to God with a plan. He took it out of my hands. When I was down to my last, about to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am.
Ever since I met the Most High, I know why they so surprised how I go fly and navigate the open sky. Cause these wings not from a substance I fiend. So just trust that I'm clean, though it seems like an old vibe. You wanna know God? Into the King's dominion, I guarantee you'll be screaming the whole ride. Cause the deeper the soul's tied to sin, the steeper the nose dive. Repent or you gon' fry. I remain planted despite the damage. My standards is feeling rampant. So if you feeling famished, he be the living sandwich. Me, I'm the little handers, he in the griddle pan. If you ever need in the middle, man.
I can't be popping no sins. I apologize in advance. I went to God with the plan. He took it out of my hands. When I was down to my last, about to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. I can't be popping no sins. I apologize in advance. I went to God with a plan. He took it out of my hands. when I was down to my last. About to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. Monetize pain with the vocals, whoa. I'ma do things that they won't do, yeah. Finna bring the pain and the hope to ya. Put the whole thing in the Pro Tools, yeah. Who you go to when you go through it? Hands to the sky in a bold move. Spirit in the air, get close to it. Level up like Goku. Out of my hand, no solo. Cup running over, no solo. Only get by for so long. Had to say bye like so long. Had to let go like fumble. Only made me more humble. Couldn't feel the whole like ozone. Still feel a void like no go, no go. Welcome to the no-fly zone. Letting go of my controller. I could never fly drones. All the stress got me bouncing off the wall. Sky zone. I'm just waiting for the day. Open up the sky though. I can't be popping no ends. I apologize in advance. I went to God with the plan. You took it out of my hands. When I was down to my last. About to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. I can't be popping no ends. I apologize in advance. I went to God with a plan. He took it out of my hands. When I was down to my last. About to lose all that I had. I never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am. Never forgot who I am.
Hey, my name is Davis and I'm from Haiti, but I live in Dominican Republic. I'm here, Positive Power 21, Jerry Royce live, worldwide.
All right. In case y'all didn't know, that was GB laying it down. GB, tell us about that. That's that lyricist that you talked about earlier. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man, that's always been my calling card. The lyrics, the words are super important to me. That's always how it's been, poetry or hip hop or anything. But yeah, so never forget, the idea for the hook came to me, I want to say sometime last year. I didn't have any beat or anything for it. The idea just came to my mind. Just kind of looking over the current landscape of hip hop, you know, there's a lot more these days. I feel like hip hop is defined a lot more by, not only, you know, illicit drug use, which isn't anything new necessarily, but also mental health struggles. You know, a lot of individuals, you know, kind of push that narrative as far as their personal experiences with that, and to a you know, further extent, glorifying it in a sense. And I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, especially like in the last, I don't know, however many years. You know, people are really thinking more about mental health and what that means for our everyday implications. I think as far as hip hop, oftentimes it's glorified in how people cope with that. And so I kind of wanted to take that concept and really explore that. What does it look like to, you know, cope with stress? What does it look like to cope with, you know, anxiety, depression? Where does that fit in, especially as a Christian? And just understanding that at the end of the day, it's really only God that's going to help us, you know, get through whatever it is that we're dealing with. So no amount of, you know, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, you know, vices or alternatives we look for, while we may find some joy in that temporarily, it's not going to fix whatever the deeper underlying issue is. So that's really what spurred that concept.
I love it. On your page, you actually had something that I wanted to end with the inspiration. Every show that I do have the artist or whoever I'm interviewing end with an inspiring word or encouraging word for the viewers and the listeners. And so on your page you had, and I think it was today, it said something like, take pride in being made in God's image. I think it said something like, take pride in being made in God's image. Do you remember posting that? I think that's what it said. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I can be a bit, when I'm researching the people I'm interviewing, I can be a bit of a, you know, I go a little deep, and I'm trying to remember. Y'all challenged me because I had two people to remember, but just in that, before we let you go, and then I'm going to come over to you, Shay, but just as a word of encouragement, take pride in knowing or being made in God's image. What does that mean when people read that from you? What does that mean to you, from you to them?
Gotcha. Well, let me back up a little bit. So usually every day I try to post what I call a daily thought, whether it's from a devotional, inspired by a devotional, or, just something that God drops in my spirit. So I try to put something out every morning just to not only, encourage people, but also to remind myself and kind of keep myself accountable for, what I'm reading, what I'm studying, especially with social media. It's so easy to go down that rabbit hole. So that's just a way for me to kind of hold myself accountable. But as far as taking pride in being made in God's image, really thinking about the concept of being an image bearer. God made us in his image. And so because of that, there's this implication that no matter what we're going through, he's going to understand where we're coming from. There's innately a part of him that's within us. And so rather than try to fight that or run away from it, we should embrace it. There's something that, unlike any other, species in this world, connects us directly to God. And so understanding that we're made, from him, essentially, we should embrace that. We should celebrate that. We should take pride in that, in knowing that we are, God's masterpiece.
Amen. And I want to, before I let you go and before I go to Shay, let people know what you have going on now that you've heard what he's working with, and if somebody wanted to book you, to connect with you on any of your social handles, where can they do that?
Social media everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, GB Music, GBMUS, the number 1 instead of an I-C. So GB Music. You can find me on there. All my contact information is on there. You'll find links to my music, which is all over social media platforms, on all digital platforms as well. So Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, it's there. So I've just been focusing on trying to, challenge myself to be consistent as far as putting music out. So I really just have a bunch of singles that I've been putting out this year, in the midst of trying to work on a project. So there will be details forthcoming on that front. But yeah, just having singles out that people can enjoy and vibe to, and obviously still find a deeper meaning in, and just been loving the response I've been getting. So.
Well, definitely. I loved it, and I appreciate you joining us tonight, and I look forward to hearing more from you. But we're going to come over to, I told you I'm saving the best for last. We weren't going to be fair to you tonight, GB. So with Shay. With
now
Shay,
I got to live up to that, see?
You got to, exactly. You got to live up. You got this. So what word of encouragement would you like to leave for the viewers and the listeners tonight?
I feel like I always leave the same word, and I do, because it's so essential in a day where people are giving up. Pastors are walking away from the pulpit. Suicide is at an all-time high. Just stay in there. It really, the race does not go to the swift nor the strong, but to the one who endures, and a due season is guaranteed. All you have to do is not faint. All you have to do is not give up. And God will see you through whatever valley experience you're having. Life is peaks and valleys, but there's always joy in the morning waiting to greet you. But you have to get through the nighttime. So my word is just never, ever give up, no matter how hard it gets. Just if all you can do is stand, that's what the Bible says, then just stand. That's it. Don't even worry about doing nothing else. Just sit there until you can gather your feet and move and take another step. And that's so real. It's so real. He just needs us to endure this thing.
Amen. As you were saying it, the song, no matter how hard it gets. Was that on 5 Heartbeats?
Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Sherry, the next time we have her on, you need to have that song queued up for her word of encouragement. We need to just play that song right in behind her. No matter how hard we try. Okay. Well, I just want to thank both of you. And before we go, what projects are you working on that everyone needs to, did you tell everyone where to find you, connect with you?
Yeah, you can just Google Shay Sarai Music, CHESARAI. Just Google Shay Sarai Music. All my handles, IG, Facebook will come up. I'm on SoundCloud, YouTube. It'll all populate. Just scroll through and click on what you want.
I love it. She said Google me.
Yeah, Google me. I do have the mixtape that won mixtape of the year last year for the DMV. It also won mixtape of the year this year in Ohio. That is on my YouTube and SoundCloud as well. So definitely want to check that out.
I was going to say it, but I wanted you to be able to present it to the world because I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I was like, she's going to tell him. She's going to tell him. So make sure you guys support make sure you guys support GB and Shay Sarai. Awesome music. You heard it here. You will hear more of them. I know for a fact that Jerry's going to be playing. And I told you guys to stay tuned because at the end of this segment, we are going to be playing their video. I cannot wait to see it. But I do have one more question to ask, and I've had to prep people because everyone kind of gets quiet after I ask. So before we end every show, we always ask the guest, can you feel the power? So I'm going to say, can you feel the power? And then you're going to say it with all of your heart, your might, enthusiasm. We're going to end the show with a bang. You're going to say, I feel the power. All right? Are y'all ready?
All right. Yep.
All right. GB and Shay Sarai, I have one more question for you. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power?
I can feel the power.
All right, family. We appreciate having Shay and JB right here on Positive Power, XXI Christian Media with Shay Sammons out of Atlanta, Georgia. All right, and they out of the DMV. All right, y'all, don't forget, y'all, Saturday is starting at 12 o'clock, 12 to 3. No, 11 to 3. Wow. We're going to have the Lakeisha Mosey Show being taped in Centerville, Maryland. We're going to be out there in the community. That's right, Juneteenth Day, celebration of freedom for the African Americans back in 1865, right on June 19th. That's right, that's when we won the war. Actually, we won the war, I think, in 1863, but legislation had to jump in and make it a law because a couple states like Texas, North Dakota, and South Dakota didn't want to participate. Yeah, they were sore losers. But anyway, we're going to be celebrating, y'all. It's all good, y'all. African Americans have made so many contributions to this country, major contributions, like the red lights in D.C. How will we get around D.C. without those red lights? It'd be crazy. A lot of good things, y'all. All right, y'all, so stick around. We about to rock that video. That's right, that video by Shay Sarai. That's right, and this one is called, let me see, I had to cue it up what I was going to call it, too. Yeah, Batman don't got itself. Yeah, it's called What If He's Real? It's from her song. All right, so hang around, y'all. We about to let it go. So if you're listening to it on the radio, you can't see it. Just believe it.